Hello and welcome back to part 2. So our previous recording of part 2 was ruined by this recording software called VSDC, but in that tutorial we are showing you how to create these two window panels, which are, as we look at our reference here, this window and this window. So hopefully the sound won't be ruined again, because I don't know why it's being ruined, and it's like the fourth time I'm doing this tutorial. So hopefully it's the last one, because if it gets ruined I shall post it that way, because it's getting insane, you know, four times, and I don't know why it's behaving that way. So quickly let me first reset this cube to how it was in part 1. Even this outliner was not there, so I can right click and join areas, and I want it to be joined that way. And let's delete these windows by selecting it and delete it, select it and delete it on the outliner. And yeah, let's select this cube. Let's first add another panel here by you can click here and drag it upwards, then click down here again. Make sure it's showing this plus sign, or something that looks a plus sign. If you left click it and it does not select, if you left click it and drag it upwards, it will create another panel. So you can create as much as you want, but I want this one to be the outliner and I want this one to be the properties panel. So select this cube, then use the scroll wheel to go to the range. Actually you don't need this step because I'm resetting to where we had left in part 1. As I've told you, our recording was ruined with my VSDC screen recorder, which is like the fourth time it's ruining it, but hopefully it's the last time I'm recording this part. So quickly let's add these windows. So let's go to the wireframe mode, and the 3D cursor is right here in the middle, which you can change by let me first put in the screencast tool by pressing N and turn it on, so that you can see what I'm pressing on the keyboard down here. So the 3D cursor, you can shift it by pressing shift and right clicking, and you can shift it that way, and that's where our new objects shall be added. But we don't want them to be added here, we wanted them to be added here in the middle of the scene. So to take the 3D cursor to the middle of the scene, you can press shift S and there will be a pie menu that will pop up. Then select this cursor world to origin, and it will go there to world origin. So now we want to first add the first window, which at the beginning will be a cube. Then I'll show you how to make it to be a window panel where you can fit in windows if you want. And if you want to fit in windows, we shall activate another add-on called Archipack, but we shall not use it right now, probably in the next steps of this tutorial. So let's go to by pressing shift A, and let's add the cube, and that will be our window. So press S to scale it to something like that, doesn't really matter. So pan around by pressing the middle mouse button so that you can see well where our cube is. So after that, press G with the cubes, this small cube selected, press G and lock it on the Z axis by pressing Z. So we want it to bring it to somewhere there, then confirm by left clicking the mouse, then press G again and lock it on the Y axis so that you can move it somewhere there. Then you can shift our view to top orthographic by pressing the number pad 7 so that you can see well, and it's in the middle as we want it. Now we want to scale it to be this long, and hopefully the screen recorder is not misbehaving again, because I've seen it like loading. So with this object selected, press S to scale it, then confirm. Let's first select the object, then press S to scale it. Then we want to scale it on the x-axis, so press X, then move your mouse and it will be scaled on the x-axis to somewhere there. So as I told you, we want a long window. Then we want to create this other window by duplicating this window. So with the object selected, press shift D and you'll have another window here. Then we want to lock it on the y-axis, so press Y, then move it along the y-axis because we want it to be somewhere in the center. Then let's rotate it by pressing R, and you can rotate it to somewhere there. It doesn't have to be accurate, because let's say we confirm here by left clicking, there will be a panel that will pop up here down. So open this panel and click here at angle, and we want it to be rotated at the 90 degrees, at a 90 degrees angle. So write 90 and confirm, enter, and as you can see now it's at a 90 degrees angle. Then minimize that panel and let's move it on this side, because we want it to be the secondary window, to be the second window, not the secondary window. So press G and lock it on the x-axis by pressing X, then move it to somewhere there. Yeah, somewhere there it's okay, because we want there to be in between the wall. So right now we have not added any thickness to our wall, it's just a plain cube. So to add thickness to the wall, select the wall, the house itself. You can select it on the viewport, or you can select it on the outliner. So with it selected, press the number pad 7 so that you can see what you are doing on the top orthographic. So we want to add thickness to this wall. So to add thickness to this wall with the object selected, you can go here to the properties panel and go to the modifiers properties by selecting it, then add a modifier called a solidify modifier. So this solidify modifier, there's an option to put your thickness the way you want, but for us, for a normal building, the thickness of our wall should be about 20 centimeters. So if I click here and write 20 centimeters, it will be automatically converted to meters. So write 20 centimeters and enter, and that's the thickness of our wall. As you can see now, there are two lines. So this offset option, it means where will the thickness be applied? Is it on the inside part of the wall or the outside part? So for anyone working on an architectural visualization project, the thickness should be applied on the outside so that the interior measurements won't be messed up. So let me show you practically. If I left click here and drag it to 1, the thickness will be applied on the outside. So if I reduce it back, as you can see, the thickness is being applied on the inside, but that's not what we want. We want it to be applied on the outside like that. So always remember to press Ctrl S to save your work. It's very good to save your work as you move along. So let's reposition our windows again. So select this window and press G and lock it on the y-axis like that, and select this other window and press G and lock it on the x-axis. And I think this is a good time to start renaming this window. So select this one, the first one, and you can double click here on the outliner, double left click that is, and wrap it and wrap it by using the backspace button and write window 1, then press enter, then select this other object here and let's write it as window 2. So let me show you another way to rename objects. So with the object selected, you can press F2 and you can grab it by now pressing the backspace and write window 2. So hopefully the sound of this tutorial is going to be messed up, because the screen recorder is messing up the video and the audio, and I don't know why. But this is the 4th time I'm recording it, and hopefully it will be good. So now we have something that looks like a window pane. So what we can do first is to reposition them. So let's go to the solid view mode, and with this object selected, select the window 2. You can start with any the window 2 or window 1, because I want it to be somewhere up here. So select it, select the window. You can also select here on the outliner, and with the arrow on the viewport, press G and lock it on the Z axis by pressing Z, and I want the window to be somewhere up here. And let's pan around using the middlemost button and do the same to the window 1. You can select here on the outliner, then move your arrow to the viewport and then press G and lock it on the Z axis and move it up somewhere there. So right now our objects have not yet been, we want to see through this building, and as you can see, you can't see through, and because and that's because you have not added a boolean modifier to a house object. So with the house object selected, you can go back to this range icon here, which is the modifiers property, and add another modifier called a boolean. So select this add modifier and select boolean. So if you scroll down here, you'll see it because the modifiers usually apply from the first one to the last one. So the thickness modifier should always come first when you're working on architectural visualization. So the boolean will come second here. So there are two ways to work on this. So I'll show you the two ways. So the first way is select this icon here. If you select it, you'll see something like that moving with your mouse wheel, with your mouse. So we want to drop it here on this window 1. And as you can see now, it has changed and it has selected to window 1, but currently you can't see through because this cube is being shown as a textured object. So we want it to be shown as bounds. So with the cube selected, which is our window 1, you can go to the objects property, and when you scroll down here, you'll find the viewport display. So select the viewport display, open it up, then scroll down and you'll see the display as. We want to change it from textured to bounds. So you change it to bounds. As you can see, it has changed it automatically, and now you can see it through. So a fun fact, let me show you something real quick before we do that to the secondary window. If we go to the top orthographic by pressing the number pad 7, then let's go to the wireframe mode. If we move this window to be in between this wall, you won't be able to see through. Let me show you. So there, our window 1 has been selected. So press G and lock it on the Y axis by pressing Y. So let's move it to be somewhere in between this wall. So if I pan around to that window and go to the solid view mode, you'll see that we no longer can see through it. So always ensure that the boolean object, the object that has been selected as the boolean is in between this wall so that you can see through it. So go back to the top orthographic by pressing 7, then go to the wireframe mode here, then with the object selected press G, and let's reposition it by pressing Y. G then Y, then let's reposition it there. So pan around again, and when you go to the solid view mode, you can see through, as I've told you. So ensure it's not inside the thickness of the wall. So to ensure it's not inside the thickness of the wall, you have to be on the wireframe mode, and you also have to be on the top orthographic view by pressing the number pad 7, so that you can see these are the lines of the wall and this is the boundaries of our window pane. So let's do the same thing to our second window by selecting it. Before selecting it, select the house itself and add another boolean modifier to it. So let's go first to the solid view mode, then go to this range icon by selecting it, which is the modifiers property, and if you scroll upwards, let's add another modifier called the boolean, and it will be down here after selecting it. So let me show you another way that I was telling you you can maneuver here. So instead of selecting this icon, you can select this space. So if you select this space, it will bring us this panel. So we want to select window 2. So select window 2. Hopefully the first one was window 1, yes. So this is window 2, and as I told you earlier, it's being showed as a textured object. So select it and make it to be viewed as a bounds. So you can select it and go to the objects property and scroll down to the viewport display and go to display as bounds. As you can see now, we can see through. So now we have already set up our windows, and I've already set up the thickness of our building, which will be our room. So in the next tutorial, I'll be showing you how to set up the camera, which will be like, as I told you earlier in the introduction, positioning of the camera is everything, because if you get it wrong, the cinematic view won't look cinematic at all. It just looks something that has been done roughly, and that's not what we want. So in the next tutorial, I'll be showing you how to set up the camera and also how to create this wall, because there will be the animation that will be created, the cinematic view animation, it will start somewhere here where the camera shall be tracking this area, which will be a hallway. Then it will come this way, then enter to this room. Then in this room there shall be an object here, which will be our final part of the scene. So let's meet in the next part of the tutorial. Hopefully the sound has not been messed up again for the fourth time, but these things usually happens when you're creating tutorials. So thank you, and let's meet on part 3 of this tutorial, where we shall be positioning our camera. And this is not the final size of our house, because the camera is what will determine the size of this house, the camera positioning. So let's meet in the third part, and let's play around with the positioning of the camera. So thank you and have a great day.